Every business wants good customer reviews. Every customer wants a good experience. So what happens when both sides click? Or in some cases, when they don't? From Yelp and Entrepreneur Media, this is Behind the Review.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
I'm Emily Washkovic, Yelp's small business expert. Every week, I pick one review on Yelp and talk to the entrepreneur and the reviewer about the story and business lessons behind it. Let's see what's behind this week's review.
And there's floor-to-ceiling windows across the whole shop. So it is beautifully lit. The colors are these very vibrant pastels all around the studio. You kind of walk in and just feel at peace. And then the front desk staff is super friendly. And one of the things that I think separates a good business from a great business is customer service, because you can have an amazing product or service, but it's customer service that really makes people feel welcome and makes them excited to be there and makes them want to come back.
That's Deandra. She's actually a colleague of mine and works directly with Miami businesses and consumers as the Yelp Miami community manager. You might be surprised to hear that she's telling me about a tattoo parlor, a place called Iris Tattoo that got its start in Argentina and then opened its first U.S. location in Miami in 2016. Iris Tattoo isn't like any of the tattoo parlors that I've been to, and they don't want to be. Let's hear Deandra's review.
I am obsessed with Iris Tattoo. Wow. From the environment to the social distancing protocol to the level of talent by these artists, I am 100% blown away by my experience yesterday. For my second tattoo, I knew I wanted to get a lion. I wanted to be reminded every day to live with the heart of a lion, to be brave, to be fierce, and to remember that no matter what, to lead with love for my pack. I am also obsessed with my zodiac sign, which is a Leo, hence the inspo. Anyways, if you're going to get a lion on your body forever, it had better be beautiful. After a ton of research on tattoo shops in Miami, I fell completely in love with Iris. Check out their Instagram. Every single one of their artists is incredible. When I submitted my requests and examples of work, I was paired with room steam. I knew that this would be semi-painful since the rib cage is sensitive, but room steam made me feel completely at ease. I had an incredible experience. Room steam is so talented and created exactly what I wanted. I said I would stop with 2 tattoos, but I'm sure I will be back. Thank you, Iris Tattoo, for an amazing experience.
Deandra's love for Iris wasn't just about her artist or the piece of art being added to her body. It was about the environment and the operational systems put in place by the Iris team to make customer experiences memorable. Let's hear from founder Nahuel on how Iris came to be.
I'm a customer service freak, and the whole idea, actually, the seed was planted when I got my last tattoo before Iris Tattoo. I had to wait for 3 hours for my artist. And I thought that there has to be a place where you can just even pay a little bit more, but ensure that your experience is good. Because I know from the perspective of a customer, there's a lot of emotion put into it. And here's what I identified. Tattoo artists are extremely emotional people, but for what they do, they need to concentrate on the actual tattooing. And their work takes up so much time, energy, and actual emotion that it's hard for them sometimes to have the space to vibe with you while you're there. They work with so many people and they need to focus on the actual piece because there's a lot of pressure on tattoo artists. It needs to be perfect. I always say we're human, we make mistakes, but our mistakes, they don't go away. They stay there forever on somebody's body. So I thought, if somebody would just take the pressure off the artist and help build a bridge between the client and the artist, that would be amazing. That would be a game changer for the tattoo world. So I thought customer service is key everywhere. And this industry has a huge potential of turning customer service into something that is real and meaningful, because it's not coffee, it's not a hamburger, it's for life. And there's a lot of emotion put into that day. I always say when I have these little meetings with my team, is that, guys, you got to remember, for us, it's another day at the office. for them, it's a landmark in their lives. So I think that was what made it all watertight, that inconsistency. We try to make sure that everything that you see through our social media or even Yelp reviews or whatever, the moment you walk in, it's not smoke and mirrors. It is the actual experience.
Nahuel identified a pain point in an industry he was so passionate about. It happens to be a pain point in many industries, and it's also the key to a great reputation, both online and off. Customer service creates connection. Customer service makes people remember your business and come back. One of the things that made a lasting impression on Deandra was a welcome box she received when she arrived for her appointment.
So I know I was getting a tattoo of a lion on my rib cage. I'm already freaking out that I'm going to be in pain. It was so nice to get a little welcome box that said, "Hey, Deandra," with my name, and then you open it and there's like one of those little balls to help with pressure. Like if you have stress, there's some snacks. There's a little game if you want to kind of like ease your anxiety if you have it. And there's the aftercare cream, right? So already I was like, wow, like they were expecting me. This is really nice. I know I'm in a good place.
This personalized gift is an extra touch that connects the customer to the brand. And it wasn't always a box. Pre-pandemic, the welcome waiting area of Iris Tattoo had these items scattered around.
All that you experience in the box, which is, a little treat, a warm cup of tea or coffee, a little snack, something to play with things that were scattered in the studio. And we make sure that we had time for a little with the client, ask them about how they're feeling today. Now, with COVID, we had to remove everything that you touch with other people. We had to stop receiving guests. So they come in there alone, but we can't touch them, but we can't give them coffee. So we sat down. And again, I'm a customer service freak. And fortunately, I'm married to a marketing wizard. And marketing, it's basically the art of bringing empathy into actual dynamics. So my superpowers are kryptonite when I can't interact with people. I like to make them feel like they're in my living room and I'm a great host. But the moment I can't interact with them, I don't know what to do. And then she goes, no, we can build a little box so we can make them feel at least a little bit of that experience. And then we sat down for hours. We put so much thought into it. It's not just the two of us, it's all the team. And the box was just a welcome box for a few weeks until we realized that we get a lot of return on clients. And we need to make sure that they know that we're not robots. So we spent humongous amount of hours just making sure if this person is a returning person, just to put something different to play with in the box, a different snack flavor, and a welcome back. Just let them know that we are expecting those people. So that's how we created the welcome box. It's fairly new. It's just after COVID, after we were able to reopen. And it's a big success. We're happy with the box.
The welcome boxes are a part of the experience, an experience curated to make customers comfortable as well as connected to the brand. And that extra attention to detail used to identify return customers and then modify their welcome box is a great example of how Iris Tattoo elevates their customer service, which pays off in return business. I want to go back to something Nahuel mentioned earlier about the relationship between a tattoo artist and their client. He identified that taking the pressure off the artists and bridging the gap between client and artist would enhance the entire experience. Having someone welcome customers in, give them their box, and see how they're feeling in advance of their appointment is an extra employee that needs to be paid. But it also sets the stage for a high-end experience that Iris offers. And a lot of this is operational. I'll let Nahuel explain.
Right now, we have 8 artists, and we have about 10 people working from home, doing the bookings, answering emails, answering DMs. We have people answering emails from 9 in the morning to 9 in the evening, 7 days a week. It's very easy to get frustrated when you like an artist, when you like a studio, and especially with something so visual, you start creating a connection with it. And when you finally build up the courage to reach out and they tell you, well, books are closed until 2027, right? Or you didn't get an answer to your email in maybe weeks. I think I don't want to be dismissive to other artists, others, but it's the word's not disrespectful, but it lacks the acknowledgement of the other person. Do you know what I mean? So again, this is my first time owning a tattoo studio, right? So everything is improvising and trial and error. At the beginning, we had 6 months waiting lists, and it was very frustrating for both the client and the artist, because sometimes the artist has a cancellation 2 days before, or the person that you called that's been waiting for 5 months, now they want something completely different. So I thought, okay, let's build some sort of strategy here, which is we're going to have people dedicated just to filter all the messages, to arrange the bookings, and then we shorten the booking waitlist by we only open the books of each month on the first of the previous month. Okay, so January 1st, books are open for February. Usually in a week or 10 days, they fill up. And on February the 1st, we open books for March, and so on, so on, so on. So that first doesn't push the artist to commit in that long of a term, because they want to travel, they want vacation, they want holiday. You don't know where you're going to be in 6 months, especially after 2020. And then on the other hand, the maximum that a client is going to wait is 6 weeks. So that's how we came up with the system. And we are so dedicated. Everyone in the studio, apart from the whole booking team outside the studio, is constantly checking, supervising. I glance every email to come into my studio, and that's 500 emails a day. We check DMs. We detect the moment that someone gives us a 4-star review, we jump into it and we brainstorm what happened there. It's the least we can do when people choose us for something so important.
We'll come back to the topic of reviews in just a moment, but I want to reemphasize the operational decisions that Iris Tattoo makes to better serve its customers. Rather than fill the books for as many months out as clients are willing, they have completely changed the game of tattoo booking. They only open the books for 1 month at a time, but they have a large team dedicated to managing communication for customers across multiple platforms to spread that message and process requests. Sometimes they even turn away customers.
We had to say no to a lot of tattoos. When a new artist comes and you go like, you just left $500, walk through that door. And I tell them, no. $500 are always coming into that door. We are building a nature here, not just the name. Very quick example. When I was at the front desk a couple of years ago, I had this very young girl. She was probably 18, and she wanted to get a rather strange quote, strange words to me. So it caught my attention. I asked her, what is this? And she was like, oh, no, those are the lyrics of a song that I heard with my boyfriend who just left me. I'm like, you're 18. You're going to hate this tattoo when you're 30. You're not going to remember the name of the guy who just left you. You're 18. So let's do something else. Come on. And she got super upset with me because I don't know what she was going through. But the truth is, I felt comfortable with my decision. 2 years later, she's a customer and she thanked me. Thank God you didn't let me do that. I was crazy. So that kind of commitment, it really costs nothing and it pays off big time. That's the challenge. And honestly, it's not even a challenge. Once you show your team that that's the way.
Operationally, Iris Tattoo has structures and systems in place that allow for a smooth and memorable experience. Customers fill out a form online indicating what they want and then are paired with an artist. The artist creates their design, and when they meet in the studio for the appointment, the artist and customer look over the art together before getting started.
So the cool thing about Iris is that the artist's work is unique every time. They're not going to replicate it. So you don't actually know what you're getting until you get there. Of course, you send examples and you send the reasoning behind why you want the art and all of that. But I didn't actually see my art until that day. And they come out, they bring an iPad with the art, and it's this cool reveal, right? And the one thing that I also appreciate too is sometimes you can go for any service or like anything, and people might be like pushy or not accommodating if you want to change it. So you get intimidated to be like, oh, I don't know if I like that, and this is going to be on my body forever. So I was super comfortable telling RoomStem, okay, this is a great start, but can we do XYZ? Or can we change XYZ? And he edited it a couple of times before printing it out and putting the stencil on me so I could see. And then we ultimately had a very good rapport. He really brought my vision to life. in a way that I wasn't expecting because I knew they would do a good job, but that I was just so happy with. And that's when I knew, okay, they say that once you start getting tattoos, you keep coming back. And that is definitely true. So I just knew that whenever my next one would happen, I would definitely go back.
That experience from start to finish was flawless. Just as the Iris Tattoo team planned, Deandra had a great feeling and comfort with the business before even meeting her artist or going over her tattoo design. This started when she looked at their website, checked out their Instagram account, and read their online reviews. As Nahuel mentioned earlier, it can't be smoke and mirrors. All of these things need to match up to the in-person experience as well.
You walk into the studio and you can hear laughter here, a warm conversation there, somebody singing the song we're playing. It's a happy place. It's hard to keep it like that because, we're human. Everybody has a bad day, but it's also a job. I always tell them, listen, just use it for your advantage. Go be miserable. Let's all go be miserable as a family together after work. Let's use the opportunity to be here to be happy. I'm very clear about trying to avoid polarizing subjects. And it's not because we don't care about what happens outside those walls. It's because right now it's about that person getting that tattoo. And let's use it. Let's be happy. We are very committed to both the technicality and the emotionality of the tattoo.
I absolutely love his honesty. No matter what industry you're in, you and your staff are human. You'll have bad days, but you have to consciously remember the customer you're serving and the experience you're creating. That is what impacts their feeling about your business and their willingness to share that story with others. Here's Nahuel talking about the power of feedback, whether it's a Yelp review or even word of mouth recommendation to a friend or colleague.
Yeah, it was just before Instagram and right before online reviews. And it was word of mouth. So what reviews do now is they spread the power of word of mouth. Okay, so we got a few friends that come and got tattooed and they showed it to their friends. And then honestly, it was so fast that I can't really tell you what it was. Because before I noticed, I had to hire a team to help me deal with the demand. But the reviews are both a great certificate for us, a great badge to wear. But here's the thing, it's 50% what it does for us and for our business and for gaining more customers. But the other 50% is the moral boost and the learning. Because when you go see, we have perfect 5-star reviews, but they were not all 5 stars at the beginning. Some of them were 2 or even 1 stars that we were able to turn around. Every time we get a bad review, we sit down and say, what happened here? We look into the case, we call the person, we make sure that we learn from our process, and we make sure that we make it right, and they go and change it. So it's also a great tool for not falling asleep and keep us on our toes.
The Iris Tattoo team works to create a memorable experience for their clients. Everything from the online form to the booking process, arriving for your appointment and receiving a personalized gift. But they also realize they're not perfect, and sometimes consumers don't experience their business in full form. That's where reviews provide visibility and allow their team to reach out and to learn. To close out, I'm going to let Deandra talk about why she writes reviews and allow her to provide some insights on ways you can help support local businesses in your community.
I always try to remind people that this past year has taught us so much. And I think the weight of what can people do to help or support can be a little bit daunting. And I know sometimes for me, when something is daunting, I decide to avoid it versus address it. But I always try to reiterate that it doesn't matter what your financial situation might be. It doesn't matter what your resources might be to be able to try new businesses and things. Ultimately, the unifying thing about all of this is that supporting businesses doesn't have to be difficult. Like writing a review, engaging on social media, spreading word about businesses that you love, all of that is free. And you might think that it doesn't make an impact, but your review could be the factor for someone to go to that mechanic because they trust you and they saw your review and they're like, wow, Deandra went XYZ place. Let me try it. Or your social media post, sharing a new menu item, sharing something that you think is cool. That means more to a business owner than you might realize. All of that is free. And then my last you have more of an impact in your small or large circle than you know. So when you share about businesses that you love, you're really helping them, even though you think you might not have that impact because you do.
And that concludes our episode. Be sure to subscribe so you get new episodes every Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to take a thing or two away to implement in your own life. Whether it's a new idea that you can bring back to your business or a fresh perspective on how to be a positive influence as a consumer, we share these stories to inspire and create more meaningful connections in your local community. For more information about today's business or to connect with me, check out the show notes.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
Today's show featured conversations with Nahuel Hilal, the owner of Iris Tattoo, and Deandra, Yelp's community manager in Miami. To learn more, check out the episode blog post. And don't forget to subscribe so you get an alert every Thursday when we share a new story. To claim your own Yelp business page and start engaging with consumers, visit business.yelp.com. Our theme song is performed by Ali Schwartz and produced by Robbie G of Messerol Sound. The show was produced and edited by Entrepreneur Media.